Ever wondered if we really only use 10% of our brains? Or if goldfish have a 3-second memory? Well, buckle up. Today we're debunking these common misconceptions. Welcome to this journey of enlightenment, where we'll be popping the bubble of some of the most universal yet unfounded beliefs. We're all guilty of holding on to these misconceptions, and why wouldn't we be? They're fed to us from all directions: movies, TV shows, even our dear old grandma. In the vast world of misinformation, the concept that we only use 10% of our brains is a classic. It's a tantalizing idea, isn't it? That we could unlock superhuman abilities if we could just tap into that other 90%. But is it true? We'll dive into that in just a moment. And then there's the goldfish, the poster child for forgetfulness. We've all heard the claim that these little swimmers have a memory span of just 3 seconds. But is that fair? Or have we been doing these tiny, finned friends a disservice? And let's not forget the Great Wall of China. Can it really be seen from space? Or is this just another tall tale we've been told? Oh, and the toilet swirl. Does water really spin in different directions in the northern and southern hemispheres? Or is this just another spin on the truth? And finally, the 5 senses. Does human perception really boil down to just sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing? Or is there more to our sensory experiences than meets the eye? Each of these misconceptions is a Pandora's box, brimming with myth, misunderstanding, and misinformation. But fear not, we're here to set the record straight. We're going to debunk these misconceptions one by one, revealing the fascinating truths that lie beneath. So, are you ready to have your mind blown? Let's jump right in. First up, the myth that we only use 10% of our brains. Sounds mind-boggling, right? This notion has been floating around for ages, probably as a way to explain our untapped potential or the mysteries of the human mind. But truth be told, it's a bit off the mark. In reality, we use virtually every part of our brain. Yes, you heard it right. Almost every region of our brain has a purpose, and most of it is active almost all the time. Even in sleep, areas such as the frontal cortex, which is responsible for thinking and memory, and the brainstem, which controls basic life functions, are buzzing with activity. So, this 10% idea, it's more fiction than fact. And it's about time we put this myth to rest. So, next time someone tells you that you only use 10% of your brain, tell them they're not using theirs enough. Moving on, let's talk about our finned friends, goldfish. Ever heard they only have a 3-second memory? Well, that's one of the biggest misconceptions swimming around out there. It's a common belief, often repeated, but it's as far off the mark as a fish out of water. So where did this fishy tale originate? It's hard to pinpoint exactly, but it seems to be a product of pure human speculation. However, scientific research has put this myth to rest. Studies have shown that our aquatic buddies have a memory span that can stretch up to 5 months. That's right, 5 whole months. This means that goldfish can learn and remember things like spatial patterns, feeding routines, and even simple tricks. So the next time you look at your goldfish swimming in its bowl, remember, it's not just mindlessly drifting. It's possibly recalling its last meal, or even the pattern of your favorite pajamas. So your pet goldfish might be remembering more than you think. Next, let's tackle the misconception that the Great Wall of China is visible from space. Now that's a statement that's been making rounds globally for quite some time, isn't it? It's almost as famous as the wall itself. But hold on to your space helmets, folks, because this is about to get debunked. The truth is, the Great Wall of China isn't visible from space without aid. That's right. Despite its impressive length of over 13,000 miles, the wall is less than 30 feet wide. From the vastness of space, that's like trying to spot a single strand of hair on a football field. Astronauts have confirmed that human-made structures like cities are visible due to their light emissions, but the Great Wall, not so much. This myth probably started as a testament to the wall's grandeur, but in reality, it's just not accurate. So, astronauts can't use the Great Wall as a landmark, unfortunately. Ever heard that toilets flush in different directions in the northern and southern hemispheres? Well, it's time to burst that bubble of misconception. This swirling tale has been swirling around for quite some time, making many believe that the Coriolis effect, which impacts weather systems and ocean currents, also dictates the direction of your toilet flush. However, the truth is much less dramatic and a tad more practical. In reality, the direction your toilet water takes on its journey down, the drain is determined mainly by the design of the toilet itself. Yes, you heard it right. The path of the swirl is crafted by the manufacturer, ensuring that the water effectively and efficiently makes its way out. The Coriolis effect is far too weak to influence something as small as a toilet flush. It would take a perfectly symmetrical, undisturbed body of water to even begin to see this effect in action. So, the toilet swirl direction isn't a handy travel guide after all. Finally, let's tackle the misconception that we only have 5 senses. Now, we've all been taught from a young age that we humans possess 5 senses: sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. It's a neat little package that's easy to remember, isn't it? Well, hold on to your hats, folks, because the reality is a whole lot more fascinating. Let's start by debunking the myth. While it is true that we have 5 primary senses, the realm of human perception extends far beyond this handful. In fact, researchers argue that we have somewhere between 9 to 21 senses. Yes, you heard that right. One of these extra senses is our sense of balance or equilibrium, known scientifically as the vestibular sense. This sense allows us to walk without toppling over, ride a bike, or even perform a perfect pirouette. It's all thanks to tiny structures in our inner ears that detect gravity and movement. Then, there's thermoception, our sense of temperature. This sense keeps us from wearing a parka in the summer or a bikini in the winter. Our skin contains tiny receptors that can detect both hot and cold, helping us respond appropriately to our surroundings. And let's not forget about nociception, our sense of pain. While it's not the most pleasant of our senses, it plays a crucial role in protecting us from harm. It's our body's way of saying, hey, that's hot, drop it, or ouch, that's sharp, move away, and we're just scratching the surface here, folks. There's also proprioception, or our sense of body position, which allows us to touch our nose with our eyes closed. There's also the sense of hunger and thirst, and even the sense of time. So, while the 5 senses provide an easy-to-understand model, they are just the tip of the sensory iceberg. We humans are a lot more sensing than we give ourselves credit for. And that's not a bad thing, it just goes to show how wonderfully complex and capable we are. So, we're more sensing than we thought. Well, there you have it, some of the most common misconceptions debunked. We've popped the lid on the Pandora's box of misconceptions, and boy was it a riot. We've journeyed through the labyrinth of myths and truths, and emerged hopefully a little wiser and definitely more amused. Remember when we thought we only used 10% of our brains? Well, it turns out we're not that stingy after all. Our brains are bustling metropolises of activity, not sleepy suburbs. So, the next time you forget where you left your keys, you can't blame it on the 90% of your brain that's supposedly on vacation. And how about our finned friend, the goldfish? We've all heard the myth that they have a memory span of only 3 seconds. But as we've discovered, goldfish are not the forgetful little creatures we've made them out to be. They could probably give elephants a run for their money in the memory department. Then there was the Great Wall of Misconceptions, literally. The Great Wall of China being visible from space is as likely as spotting a single grain of rice in a massive paella. It's just not happening, folks. Ah, the toilet swirl, that spin cycle of confusion. Whether water in your toilet bowl swirls clockwise or counterclockwise has less to do with the hemisphere you're in, and more to do with the design of your toilet. So, no need to pack your bags for a toilet tour of the world. And finally, the Five-Sense Fallacy. We've been sold short, people. We have more than a handful of senses. So, the next time you feel a chill run down your spine, remember, it's just one of your many superhuman senses at work. So, the next time someone tries to bamboozle you with these facts, you'll know better. Remember, knowledge is power. Have you enjoyed busting these myths with us? Are you hungry for more fascinating facts? Well, you're in luck. By subscribing to our channel, you'll gain access to a treasure trove of knowledge, debunking myths, and setting the record straight on all those head-scratching questions. You'll be the first to know when we release new content, and trust us, we have some thrilling topics lined up. From the mysteries of the animal kingdom to the wonders of the universe, we've got it all covered. So what are you waiting for? Join us on this journey of knowledge and let's debunk more myths together. Click that subscribe button now, and let's keep the curiosity alive. Remember, the real world is far more fascinating than fiction.